Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the lab. This is their part number 251-1. This is a Yale bottom pin, is what it is. In the catalog, in the lab catalog, they don't have the part number 251. They do have, on page 9 of their catalog, it says Yale, Yale type pins. It then tells you the master pins, the drivers, and then the bottoms that you can order. But they don't have 251. Regardless, just order them as Yale, and then they will convert that to the right part number. A couple of things on this package. It's an 019 step. It's an 019, which tells us that it's a two-step system. So in Yale, there would be cuts 0 through 9. 0 through 9, there are 10 possible cuts. 019 step means that the increment, the difference, if you measured a 1 pin and a 2 pin, is 0.019. In a two-step system, you would never have a 1, master key and then a 2 cut change key in that chamber, because the 019 is too small of an increment. So you have to go in 2 steps. Generally, you'll have odd or even parity. If you have an odd number in your TMK, you'll have odd numbers all the way through that chamber as it pertains to how you would build the key bitting array. But back to the 019, because that dimension is less than 0.023, that's the magic number, you automatically become a two-step system. The easier way to say it is there is no number 1 master pin in Yale. So that's what that means. Also, what else is on there? It's a bottom pin, so that's going to be, you've got 3 primary pin types. There are different names for, the driver pin. There's control pins, there's build-up pins, there's wafers, different names. But you're going to have a bottom pin always, and you're going to have a driver or a top pin always. You may or may not have a master pin. This is just the bottom pin. Okay, it tells us that it's a number 1. Bag of 100, a little poly bag like this, quantity of 100. We have a visitor in our video. Sorry. I apologize. Let's take a look at the length of this. A number 1 bottom by Yale is 0.201. And my caliper, that's what you come to expect from lab. You can't really see that really well. Okay, that's on the money. That is control over the manufacturing process. We're right there. Spot on. I'm sure they have a tolerance, and I'm sure that my caliper is just not accurate enough to tell me how far out from 0.201 it is. Sold as a bag of 100. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at some supporting documentation. So here is the item that we're looking at. I do have some photographs of this 1 bottom pin that we can look at. Pack of 100. Sure doesn't look like 100, but it is. That's what that bottom point, particular to Yale, the exact geometries here. That's what that top looks like, that little stepped area, and then it's crowned in here as well, particular to Yale. If you're pinning Yale locks, use pins engineered and designed and manufactured to Yale specifications. That would be my recommendation. Now, there's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. And on this page, you'll be able to review not only all of the lab products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as the product catalog. And let's fire that up. And I had mentioned page 9, because that's just where I know the information is for the original manufacturer's pins. This is page 8. We get to page 9, and we'll see the Yale right there. I did not measure for you on camera the 0.115 diameter. That's another thing. If you're buying pins for your systems, you look at the different diameters. I mean, yeah, 115 is common, but yeah, here's some Dorma 108s. 077 for Ace. That's going to be for a tubular key right there. So while the diameter is mostly quite common, really what you're going to find is this detail here and out here is where everything's going to be different. Okay. So as I had mentioned, they're going to list masters, drivers, bottom pins. There are 3 different drivers because the pin stack is going to tell you which driver to use. You know, I don't know what it is for Yale, but I'm going to say if it's 0 to 3, you're going to use the long driver. If it's 4 to 6, you'll use the mid driver. And 7, 8, 9, you'll use the shorter driver because the amount of compression that you put on that spring needs to be within engineered tolerances for the system. You know, a lot of people, when they're repinning Schlage locks, they're just repinning them and not thinking about the drivers. You need to think about the drivers. You don't want to have premature failure on your client's lock. You're taking ownership of it to give it back to them in a condition of where it was originally engineered. With your springs, lots of different springs, and it's really, to me, fascinating in the sense that this best original stainless spring and this IC short, they're very close in size, but I assure you, if you try to use this best and you're pinning up some Falcon, the core is not going to work, and it's really fascinating as to why, but the fact of the matter is you need to be using the right equipment. This catalog will allow you to understand that. And what I had mentioned earlier, I simply wished that they put the part number here so I knew how to order it. Because a Yale is going to be a 251, obviously. A Baldwin's going to be something else. Okay. Now this catalog is really handy because it's going to allow you to review all of the items from lab as it pertains to locksmithing, supplies, pieces, tools, guides, installation aids, things of that nature. I can't name all of the different companies that they manufacture pins for, but I know that they are the original equipment manufacturer for lots of them. The different way in which pins are put together. These smart packs are okay. I like the vials because you can stack them better and read the top of it. The poly bag, sure, that's just the way the client ordered it. He ordered P1s with his material. Then, of course, the ubiquitous 003 system. Not exactly a Yale shape at either end. Will it work? Yeah, probably. Should you be using the original pins, designed for that system? Most absolutely you should. You'll find that it works correctly without any sort of aberration. Springs for all the different applications. Spring covers. These are, don't tell me what these are called. I have to, yeah, just little caps. That's for a best style interchangeable core. I like the Falcon style because it's faster. You just have a spring cover rather than individually capping it. The original pins on pages 8 and 9. Then you get into the kits. Lots of different kits here. I own the Emerald Wedge. I own a Woody style kit for A2, small format. I also have one of these tiny little Durex pinning kits here. Just, you can pin maybe a half a dozen locks with what's in there generally. Okay, so if you're looking for pin kits, great place to go. Installation aids are down here, or tools, I should say. Followers, picking tools, tension rods, threaded cap remover. This tool is really expensive, but I'll tell you, if you do any Schlage B series deadbolts, you're gonna, within the first time you do one, or AL series locks, anything with a threaded cap, you're gonna be happy to have this. Don't drop it. I dropped one 20 years ago, bent the pins, tried to straighten them. One of them broke, and the tool was no longer very effective. And it probably took me a decade before I replaced it because I was so mad at myself for dropping it. Tweezers, lube. This is a block where you can insert the core into. you can eject all of the pins into this hinged Bible holder, open that up, and then you can decode the pins. This is a pin decoder for medical biaxial. There are 6 different types of pins, 6 different lengths, but then there are 3 4 and 3 aft pins, left, center, and right. Key blank quality Medico does sell is how you can think of that. That's how I was taught to think of it. Key gauges, layout tray, etc. You get the point. Now, very handy document to have. If you're pinning locks, you're obviously very familiar with lab. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, I'm super happy with lab. I've been using their pins for all 30 of my years in this industry of my career. Honest saying, what I'm about to say is the absolute truth. In 30 years, there was one pin that I pulled out of a package that was clearly a manufacturer defect. I don't recall if it was too short or whatever it was, but the tens of thousands of pins that I have used, who knows how many, thousands of locks, tens of thousands of locks. That .201 when I measured it, that's lab. I mean, that is just what they do. Phenomenal. I absolutely hope to have the opportunity to view their factory at some point. If you have any questions on the lab, 251-1, a number 1 bottom pin, or any other lab product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.